Hello everyone, and welcome to another Starlight Graphics Blender 3D tutorial. Today's tutorial is modeling a simple chair with curves. And what I'm going to do is first, using the default cube, just model a very simple chair, and then create the ornaments and arm rests and things with curves that you can then customize. So the first thing we're going to want to do is, although we already have a cube, I like to start with a clean plate. So just select everything by pressing the A key a couple times, and press the X key to delete. I probably should turn on my I don't know where it is. I was going to turn on my my screencast keys, but I don't see it anywhere here. Maybe I don't have it enabled, but never mind. So we're starting with a blank plate. So like I said, delete everything on the scene. Now go and Shift A and add a cube. Now this seems sort of small, so first thing we're going to want to do is move this up on the Z-axis by pressing G, and then Z, and then 1. And that's going to bring it up right so that it's right on the grid there. Now you can see how it's sitting right there, and to make us easier to see a little better with our perspective, hit 5 on your number pad to go into user orthographic mode, and that way everything will be a bit more realistically shown. So first thing we want to do is this box does not look like a chair. Right now, it doesn't. No. So the way we're going to do this is, let's scale this on the Z-axis. I'm going to do scale Z negative scale Z, and just bring it down so that you have like the flat portion of the chair right here. You know, however you want it. You can set it something like this. It's going to be a fairly squarish chair, so we're just going to leave it like this. But if you've done that right, if you go into front view, you should see you have space here for stuff. So go tab into edit mode, and you see we're going to try to extrude this stuff to make the chair legs and stuff. So the problem is if you go into face selection mode now, select this bottom face and hit extrude, that does not look like that does not really look like a chair. Where are the legs? No idea. So undo the extrude by doing Control Z. So the first thing we're going to want to do then is just select this bottom face, go into front view, and then go into bottom view by doing Control 7 on your number pad. That would be bottom. If you see, it says bottom ortho. And then select that bottom face there. You can check that if you need to. No, make sure that nothing else is checked. And then hit the W key, select subdivide. Now you see that makes 4 squares, but we don't want 4. But instead of bringing up the subdivisions and pulling this up like this, the way we're going to do this, actually, now that I look at this, we can just pull up the subdivisions. Set the subdivisions to 3 here, and now you'll see that this nice bottom has this very nice grid pattern. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got this 32 thing of squares. So select these, select all the 4 corners. Just make sure everything is deselected. Then select 1 corner, and then select the 2 others. And then go into front view by pressing numpad 1 and do extrude enter, and then do G for grab, and then Z to lock it to the Z axis. Now, just pull this down so that we've got some nice legs. Now, if you look at this and you say, well, those are some very fat legs, totally agree with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to make those not so fat. So hit the scale key, S for scale, and you see if we try to scale this down now, it sort of scales in towards the 3D cursor, and each leg pulls into the middle. Well, we don't want that. What we want to do is set this select thing and set it to active element. So then hit scale, and it's being pulled in there. Sorry, set it to individual origins and then scale, and you'll see that each leg nicely scales down on its own axis here, and that makes the legs look just a little nicer. Nice chair. I like that chair. Now, it's looking good so far, but we have a problem. Currently, this chair looks more like a footstool or a bench. Well, the way we're going to fix this is by selecting this top face here, and then doing the same thing we did last time. Do subdivide, and set it, subdivisions, the number of cuts, to 3. Now, instead of setting this there and then extruding these 4 faces here, we're going to actually set this to 4 so that we have a bit of more thin. Actually, let's set this to 5. That way we have a back that's a little more thin. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to deselect everything, then click B, and go into top viewport, hit B for box select, and then just select all these faces here, and you've got this, and it's going to be a nice back. Now here when you look at it, this is actually longer than this, and we don't want that. We want that to end somewhere around here. So the way we're going to do that, after looking at it, because you always need to check your work all the time, is we're just going to select these faces here, and then do a subdivide on them, and subdivide them just subdivide them to 2, and that way we'll be able to get a nice look again. So then go back into top viewport, box select, and this time box select these faces here. Now we've got this nice part for the back. Now front viewport, number 1, and then extrude, E, extrude, and then hit enter, and then do grab with a G key, and then Z, and pull this up so that you have the back of this chair. Now you can, this looks sort of ugly right now, but don't worry. Now we're going to pull this up, grab, and that still looks ugly. So how are we going to make this better? We are going to hit scale and scale down just a little bit so that we have this sort of stylized chair. The problem is it's not really looking that good. So we want to scale this down again, and just find a nice. I would recommend using either the active element format or the 3D cursor pivot point to give it some cool stylized perspective. So you could even just click the 3D cursor, and then if you scale here, it sort of scales over to the side, which I like. Or you could stick it back there some ways, or you could really do anything. I'm going to set this back to 0. And one thing that I am going to do that's sort of cool, you can set this location wherever you want, and then if you see, when you scale this down, when you have that, it'll scale towards the 3D cursor. So when you look at it from the right, straight onto it, you see it creates this cool like stretched form. But you could totally move 3D cursor wherever you wanted, so you could move it, say, back a little bit, and if you scale this down now, it'll start stretching towards the back. So a cool thing is, if you want this to have like a backwards leaning, just scale this like this, then grab Z and pull it up just a little bit, so that now we have this nice backwards leaning chair. That looks good. I think that's it for the chair modeling itself. The big thing now that you want to check is that a couple things that I always check. Select all and search for remove doubles, and just make sure that there are no vertices overlapping. As you could see, mine did not have any. Moved 0, and that's a good thing. If you're having problems with, say, like a weird seam in the middle, or you know, where one part of the mesh looks darker than the other, that's probably it. Another thing I like to do is make normals consistent, which is Control N, and also fix flip it one way and then flip it the other way, just to make sure that they're all the same. Now if we go into object mode, we have a nice chair. Now one way to make this a little less blocky is we could add a subdivision, but if you see what happens here, it gets very, very you know, especially if I push up this resolution, this gets very, very weird looking. And if you like this look, totally go for it. Cool looking chair, I have to admit myself. I did not expect this to come out this way. You know, you could always go into edit mode and select these vertices and give it like a nice edge loop here. Give it a nice edge loop from the front. If you do, you know, you could set a good one here and then bring it down a little bit, so that when you go into object mode, you know, you don't have any of that stretching. But what you can also do is add a bevel modifier. So looking at this now, I think I'm going to keep this like this is, except for a few changes. First thing I'm going to do is add an edge loop right along here, and I am going to leave it there and then grab it up just a little bit. Actually, sorry, wrong way. I want to add the edge loop this way and grab it on the z-axis this way here, so that we reduce the stretching on this end. But I am sort of having a bit of a problem getting that to work, and I don't know why. But I think I'm just going to leave this as in. Has some weird stretchiness, but I think I'll just leave this as in. It looks cool. Cool chair. Whatever. So this still looks blocky. Set the shading to smooth. You got a little smoother. You can turn this. How will my computer react? It's not reacting too bad. Set the view to 3. Set render to 5. Don't do anything yet. Really, it's not very good to apply your subdivision surface modifier. Sort of has a hard time coming back from that, but you can do it. one thing I'd like to see after what we've done, we can try a bevel modifier. I don't know how this is going to go, but if you wanted a little more blocky, you can put the bevel above that, or you could put it on the bottom to give it a little more kick if you want. Yeah, really, if you want the bevel, stick it on the top of the mesh, but if you don't use it at all, because if you put it down below, it makes absolutely no change whatsoever. Because if you look here, when I put this at the bottom, and I turn off the view, which means viewing this mesh as it really is, you can see it really doesn't make much difference. Because if I put this to the top now, you can turn on the view and see what it would do here. But doesn't really do much to this mesh because it's not really doing much here. So really, I don't really want it right now, but we'll just leave my chair as it is. This would be a good time to save your work, so let's save this here. I'm gonna save it in my documents folder as chair.blend, and then I am going to just pause for one moment. I'm gonna pause for one moment, and here, I'm back. Sorry, just needed a drink of water. But I think remember, change this back to smooth shading, and now it's time to get adding the cool chair pieces parts. So what I am going to want to do is add a little nice thing in between here, something like a little ornamental in between each one of these pieces, maybe some sort of like a bridged, upside down bridge-ish thing, and then possibly some sort of a chair handrest here. So let's start adding these bridges, and the way we're going to do this is add in some curves and then form them how you want. So first thing, we want everything to be centered, so let's move the 3D cursor to the center, and let's select this object and select set origin to geometry. Now if you see this, it's oddly, weirdly placed, so let's set this to 0 and 0 so that it's we do not want that. That is the weirdest chair I've ever seen. By the way, that was me. I was fiddling around with the dimensions on this object, and you do not want that to happen, because unless you want this very, very weird chair, you don't want that. Where this is going to be a stylized chair, you can play around with the look of this however you want. You could pull these, make this a bench. You could like weirdly pull this out so that it's like an ottoman. You could do so many different things by just playing with the dimensions here. If you just set this to something around there, then you have this weirdly placed chair thing. But I'm going to set this back to how it was, which was on 1, 1, and 0.09. No, 0.9. No. How is this? What was that? Undo. Sometimes you find that you do some stuff, and even if you're just trying to show, and it gets in a weird spot. So, origin to geometry, grab Z on one axis, and then grab Z1 so that it's sitting. Grab Z1. Trying to pull this down, 1.5. Pull this down so that it's sitting right on the ground here. We want it nice on the ground. Because that's nice. So if you have the location settings to x1, y1, and z1.2, and then the scale is x1, y1, and z0.099, and then the dimensions x2.177, y 1.995, and z 2.467. So that's our chair. Now, like I said, have the 3D cursor to the center. You could either do this by setting these values all to 0 here, or you could do spacebar and snap cursor menu, cursor to center. So that'll just put that right there. Now, add a new curve. Now, if you look here, we have many different types of curves. We have Bezier curves, we have NURBS curve, and then we have all these different types. The spirals have many different, there are many different spiral types that you can play around with. I don't really play with these, but I don't play with these, but so we're going to want to start by adding in these nice little ridges here. So tab, keep in object mode, whatever, and then click Control 3 for front left orthographic mode, and then what we're going to want to do is Control 8 on the number pad just to sort of center this in our view, so that we have this nice sitting on the ground plane and it's straight in our viewport. And you could zoom in a little bit and move that view up a little bit by doing Control 8 number pad. So we have our 3D cursor set here, and we want it to be set right here so that we can then add this right up. The problem is that's in the middle, but we want it right on this area so that we can just grab the curve that we are going to create and put it right in the middle of those. So the way we're going to do that is set the X location value for the 3D cursor. Just sort of drag it forward a bit. Set it, if you go to 1, you can sort of see where it is. I think I'm doing well with minus 0.9. Just make sure that's correct, minus 0.9, and there we got it. If you see, it's right in the middle of these chair legs here. So I'm going to front, Control 3, front viewport mode again, and then add curve NURBS. NURBS. Now, if you pull out, you can see this is not very correct, because currently this nice loop that it already comes in is facing this way, and we don't want it that way. We want it facing this way. So the way we're going to do that is just put your viewport wherever you want. Rotate Z 90, rotate Z negative 90 degrees, and then you see it's right there, but then rotate Y 90. Rotate Y negative 90 degrees, and if you see now, it's in a very nice spot out of view, but you can see it now if you grab Z and you put it here. Now we want to be able to see this, so set this and select, where is it here? There should be an X-ray, but doesn't really matter. Display X-ray right here. Now you can see it through wherever you want. So go into left orthographic mode, and you can see this is sort of in the place that we want it. Set the origin to geometry, and grab it on the Z-axis. Set origin to center of mass, whatever. So grab this and sort of pull it down a little bit, and then tab into edit mode. Now you can see we have these two little splines here. So if we grab these, select these two, and scale, we don't want that to do that. So what we're going to do is hit W, subdivide, and you see we've got a nice little one in the middle. So grab Z and pull this up so that we get a better curve, like so. Now tab, out of edit mode, and we've got this curve. Now turn off X-ray for a moment so that you can see if this is coming through the edges, which it is. So first of all, grab it on the Z-axis and pull it down, and scale it just a little bit. Now, we don't want this to be that way. We want it to be an upside down. We want this to be an upside down arc. So we don't want this like this. So the simple way to do this is rotate X 180. And now you can see this arc is upside down. So grab it on the Z-axis and pull it up until you've got it sort of where you want it. Then scale on the Y-axis so that it's not protruding through. Check where you want this. Maybe that's good. And then go into the curves panel and set this to the bevel and set this bevel control. Sorry, we want to set the extrude value here so that we have this sort of rounded thing. Now the problem is that currently we have this it's sort of 2D shape, but there really isn't much we can do about this. But we can leave it like this and set the bevel depth to something sort of cool, and then set the resolution up so that we have this weird, like, splined shape thing. And our goal here is to get this is to be sort of like a mini footrest-ish thing. So let's set this to 0.025, the extrude value, and set the depth to 0.05, and then set the resolution to 15. I think we could even pull that up to 50. Oh, 32 is the highest you can go. 32. So set the resolution there to 32. And then if you go into edit mode, tab out of edit mode, and then select this, and then do Control Alt C, do Alt C, and then mesh, convert to mesh from curve meta surf text. So now it is a mesh object. Now if you look at it, it doesn't really look the best it could look. So let's add a new material here, and it's already looking better. But if you can see, it's darker on the inside than it is here. So edit mode, select everything, and then do flip normals. And now, if you see this like this, it's lighter there than it is here. So we want that like that. Now this isn't looking the same, so set this to a new material, name this chair, and then select the footrest and set this as foot underscore rest. So, looking good, but we sort of want this on all of the, want a sort of same thing on all of these. But so the way we can do this is do sort of the same thing, but with a different type of a curve. So like I said, do sort of the same thing with a different type of curve. So like we did the first time, grab, go into your properties thing, panel by pressing the N button, and then set the 3D cursor by pulling Y value, and set that to something like negative 0.2. And actually, we're going to want to pull that back even more. Negative 0.8. No. We're going to want that negative 0.75. Perfect. And we're going to leave that like that. Now, add another curve this time, but this time set it to Bezier curve. And the way we're going to do this is, instead of using this one, we're going to delete that, is add a circle. So that's another type of Bezier curve, but we're just going to set that like that. So now take this circle and rotate it on the x-axis 90 degrees. Now, if you can see, we've got a circle. Obviously, it's not centered, so go into the side and grab on the x-axis and center it on the chair. Now, tab into edit mode. Deselect everything. Go into box select mode. Select all this top stuff. Hit X. Vertices. No. Hit X. Segments. And now we've got this open arc thing. You see this? Nice little arc. So, set the origin to geometry, then go back and grab this on the z-axis. Set this to x-ray so that we can see what we're doing. Grab z, pull it up. We don't want it to be that sharp, so we're going to grab z here, and then shift select this, scale in here on the middle, and you can keep centering this how you want, and then grab on the z-axis for the last time to sort of bring out this curve-ish thing to be however you want it. So now turn off the x-ray again, and we're going to make a tube. So set this from to 3D, and you've got this where you want it. So then let's set this extrude to, no, set this, set this, what is going on here? Set these settings to be the same for sort of a less specified thing, however you want it to really be. You can set this to be a tube by adding in a mesh cylinder. Move that to the second level, but then select this again and select the bevel object. Do we need to be on that level? Bevel object, object cylinder. I don't know why that's doing that, but for some reason this is being weird on me. But I don't know why we can't make that tube. Maybe it's because, oh, so sorry guys. Have to I sometimes get a little crazy, and if I do this, bevel object, path attributes, fill, full, bevel. Oh, That's why. It's a different type of curve, apparently. So, just add this in. Sorry. Again, set this to X-ray. Grab it up on the Z-axis. Rotate it on the X-axis 90 degrees. Go back into front viewport mode. Grab it on the Y-axis here. Grab it how to be in the spot that you want. 1. Grab Z. Pull it up. Make it an X-ray object again. Turn it into edit mode. Grab on the X-axis, really making this very, very quick. Grab on the X-axis, and then you should have this nice little thing. Turn off the X-ray, and you have this nice thing. So now go set the bevel depth to 0.05. And that looks sort of horrible. So what we're going to want to do is turn up the resolution on that to 32, so that is the highest resolution it can be. Set the shading to smooth, and then Alt-C, Mesh from Curve Meta Text, tab into Edit Mode, select everything, flip normals, hopefully. You want this to look its best. Tab back into edit mode. Flip normals again. And then add a new material, but set this one as footrest. And now that'll blend in with everything else. So, now the easy thing to do is let's select this footrest. I don't like the way that color works. Select everything. One of the reasons why this is acting weirdly is we're going to want to Alt-C it, mesh. It's already mesh. Never mind. Rename this as foot_rest. Rename the Bezier curve as side tube 1. And rename the cube chair. Now, in this, go into edit mode, select everything, flip normals so that they are correct. You can see everything well. Good. Now, select this, go into Z, turn on X-ray. Actually, go back into front view. Sorry, not X-ray. That would be Control 3. And then Shift duplicate, and grab on the Y-axis. Shift D, grab on the Y-axis, right to the spot where you want the other one. This. Locations. Where are we? Y. I want this to be 76571. 76571. 76571. 76571. And now this is totally centered. Set this and rename this to side tube 2. And this should have all the stuff. So now we have this this cool chair thing here. So, got that. Save the file. Save. Last thing to do is we can very, very easily make hand rest for this. So select that side tube. Go into front. Duplicate it. Grab it on the Z-axis. Now you've got it right here. Now what we're going to want to do is grab this on the Z-axis again, but this time rotate it on the Y-axis. but then sort of continue to grab this and grab it on the z-axis until you have like this mini handlebar. Set this to hand rest 1. Shift duplicate it. Grab Z. No, not grab Z. Grab Y. Set it to the other side. Then what was this for the Y value? 76571. Negative 76571. And that now set this to hand rest 2. And you've got this nice chair that I am dying to actually have. I would love this chair for myself. Select everything, whatever. So now, that's the first part, the modeling part, and now it's sort of time to go on to the very nice, yay, texturing. Perfect. Could always set the object color. Never mind. So, first thing, what we're going to do is actually grab this chair and turn up the resolution on this to 5 and then click apply. Sometimes this can sort of throw off our materials. So then save the file again. Saving. And now this is moved very slowly. So I am actually going to undo that, and actually, no wonder why. Apply. How slowly is this moving now? I'm just going to set this view to 3 and then apply it, and then save it so that you still see the view as 3, but when it's rendered, it looks as if it's 5. So if you view it in the wireframe mode now, you can see this is crazy complicated. Tons and tons and tons of vertices here. Not much of a problem though. So this looks good. Anyway, so apply everything. Everything should be all nice and applied. Okay. Now, go into the materials. We already made a material called chair, but we want like sort of a woodish. Actually, you know what? Where this is more of a spaceshipy type, I'm going to go for more of a plastic-ish tutorial look. So I'm going to set up my scene for texturing. So first thing I am going to do is join this area here, and then I am going to pull another window over here, set this to node editor, turn off the toolbars on this, and then bring down another smaller window here, set this view to no, not this view. Set this view, if you go down to display, and set only render, so you don't see anything but, and then set the rendered view to this. Well, that doesn't really do any good, so we're going to want to set up some lighting for this. So I could go into all the specifics of adding all this, you know, specific stuff, and really going on and pulling lighting setups and stuff, but that's going to take a while. So the way we're going to do this is go into rendered viewport, and just before I do this, I want to show you that in my samples tab, I have the viewport set to preview as 0. And what this is going to do is actually make the sample value keep going up and never stopping. So really, really helpful tool. So click on Use Nodes, and then set this color. Leave that like that. I'd say actually, really, set this color to 0.5 on all of these, so it's right in the middle. And then set the strength, turn the strength up. Actually, I'd say pull this down to 0.05, 0.05, and 0.05, 0.05, 0.05, and then turn up the strength value so that you can see this chair a little better. I'd say set it to 10, something like that, maybe 50. Wow, it really, I would say 15. 15 would be good. Okay, now go into your node editor. For the first steps of this, I'm just going to do Control up arrow to bring this into full viewport mode. Now, diffuse looks good, but it doesn't really have that gloss that we're looking for. So what I'm going to do is add a new shader and set this to a glossy. Now, I'm going to add this. I'm not going to touch anything right now, but then add a mix shader. So I'll set this right here, and then stick this in here. Now, if you see, very, very simple. Back to previous, and we can see how this is doing. Now, the main thing about this is you can't really see anything that much because it's the color here is set to white and background white. Now, if you see, if I just set the glossy color to red, you still get white in there. It's weird because you get this weird reddish white. Just because that is you're having two colors go in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo adding color. Why did that do that? Set this. What's the heck is this value? Copy it. The hex values are very, very easy way to do this. I want to set the back. Control copy. That should be it. Control paste. There. So there is a really easy way to make the colors the same. I'm going to add input RGB, red, green, blue, and then just drag this color input into both of them. And now, if you set this to like a red, you can set this red color, or set it to whatever color you want. Now, the problem that you'll find is that this will get too strong, and we don't want this to be so strong. The main reason for that is you want this to be, the glossy shader is sort of adding in that sort of adding that that very, very strong, because we've even pulled up the lightness of it, but it's not going to do as much as you would want with these colors. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do RGB, grab this, and then right here, I'm going to add something to decrease that. So I'm going to do color. And then, where's this converter? Just add converter, I think something like that. Should add, why is this working for me? This is acting very, very weirdly. RGB curves. I'm going to stick this right in the middle here. Now, if you see, nothing has really happened. But if I now add a new thing and put it right there, I can grab this and move it just so that it gets, brings this color. If I push it that way, it gets darker, a little lighter actually. But if I pull this in, that gets really dark. I want to put it somewhere right around here, so that you get a little more orangey, less less strong here. So sort of fiddle around with it to get the type of look you want. It gets a little I'd also set this to Beckman Now if you grab around here, you can view this nice chair here. So with that, I'm going to, with that finished, I'm going to want to start adding some textures for the handles. So for the footrests and the feet, and also for the other ones, I'm going to want to add this like chrome. So the way I'm going to do this is in this, they all have the same material, footrest material. I should probably rename this to rest because it's really the same on all of them. So just select whatever one of those and go up here. Now, delete this diffuse and delete the diffuse and add in a glossy shader. Glossy, glossy, glossy. And then set this to Akheim Shirley. And set the roughness to like a 0.1. Set the color, bring that sort of down, add a shader, set this to anastrophic. And actually, I'm going to mix these two together. So add a shader, mix shader, set this in, take the color, copy the color over to this one, and then bring this in. Now what we want to do is pull it in so that this has a little more influence. So set this to 0.75 and then bring this color so that it's just a little darker. So what we're going to do is set this one to 0.15, but we're going to set this one to 0.12, 0.12, and 0.12. Now, if we go back to previous, you will see these have a nice shiny look. Problem is a little too shiny, so we're going to change this color just a bit, and bring this up, bring this color up here, and set this color to be about 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5, and then change this color to 0.15, 0.15, and 0.15. Now, we can't really see that, so let me just see check if this is 0.2. Really bringing in the, we're going to set this to 0.5, 0.5, so that we get, no, 0.5, so that we get an even mix here. Maybe make this little precedent in 0.5, 0.55, enter, and we get this nice look. Now we want this roughness to be a little more, so turn up this roughness from 0.1 to 0.3. And that gets way too rough, so because that's up to 3, so 0.3. And we should have something that looks relatively good. 0.2. Perfect. The big thing now is that these handles here sort of seem to like stop. And one way that we can fix this is by selecting all objects and then sort of join them in together. Actually, set this to 0.05. That's a little more shiny. Now, this color for the chair is a little too orange, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit and bring it up to more of like a white, but then set it to like a grayish, but then set the glossy down to 0.1, 0.1, enter, 0.1. But then I don't want that color to be like that, so I'll set this to something that's a little more pleasing, I think. that would look a little nicer. Maybe like a purplish. Like I said, you can really set this to be whatever you want. It's really up to personal preference. 0.05, 0.05, 0.0, 0.05, 0 there. 5, enter, and then set the red color up a little bit to 0.5 so that we get this nice reddish thing. So this is looking great. This should be good. Look at the preview. Looks cool. Nice preview. Black. Awesome. Well, what I'm going to do is to get an HDR off the internet. Now, use HDRs. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the HDR that I'm going to use. I should probably set this value just off the moment, just so that it's not running during while I'm trying to hold this up, because it sort of slows down your computer. So HDR free HDR. Okay. Sorry, it's coming up. Now the thing about HDRs is where they're based on real, well, where they are real photographs, they really add a lot to your scene because they allow the reflections to actually reflect real things. So it really helps you when you're using stuff like that. So I got my HDR there. Now in the world settings, go to world and set this to not background. Select the color and select sky texture. Now, no, we don't want sky texture. Sorry, we want environment texture. Now open. Go to wherever your picture is. I've got this right here. And then set this to equilateral. Now, if we set this to render, you can see that it's got this it's got the look of, it makes this instantly look different, because if you see these reflections here, they're actually reflecting something, so this chair looks a lot better. So, thanks guys for watching this. I hope you got some nice stuff out of it. Final render, you can see I'm just gonna set the samples to 15. I'll show, just for this little preview. Add a camera, and then just a simple way. Where is it? Lock camera to view, and then if I hit, sorry, just move this around however you want it. Sort of zoom in, zoom out a little bit. You know, you can really you can do all different types of things with it. I'm going to set up this this type of composition. Select whatever again. I'm just going to select the chair just to make everything easy. Save your file, and then do render image, and wait for this nice thing to render. And it's still going to be a little grainy, but you'll see how it's turned out. And here, guys, is the render. So I hope you guys all got something from it, and post in the link below, post in the comments below, all your cool pictures that you've created with this tutorial, all your cool chairs. I really hope you get something out of this. So everyone, have fun, and I'll also, yeah, have fun. Thanks, guys. Thank